I remember the precise moment the crack appeared, though I denied its existence for years. It wasn't a sudden dramatic fissure, but a hairline fracture, a subtle shift in the foundation of everything I thought was solid. Michael and we had built a life together, stone by careful stone. A comfortable house, two lovely children, shared jokes, traditions, an unspoken understanding that came with nearly 2 decades of shared history. On paper, we were the epitome of stability, the envy of some, a testament to enduring love. But beneath that polished surface, a quiet rot had begun. It started subtly, as these things always do. A lingering silence over dinner, when once there had been lively conversation. A touch that felt more habitual than heartfelt. Our routines became rigid, unyielding, predictable to the point of suffocation. I felt like an actor in my own life, playing the part of a happy wife, a dutiful mother. But the script felt increasingly hollow. Michael was a good man, a kind man, a devoted father. He provided, he protected, he was reliable. But somewhere along the way, the spark, the passion, the sheer joy of just being with him had faded into a gentle ember's glow, if even that. I missed the man who once looked at me as if I held the secrets of the universe in my eyes. Now his gaze often seemed to pass right through me. Then came David. He was a new partner at the firm, charismatic, confident, with a laugh that echoed through the sterile office halls, a stark contrast to the muted hum of my own existence. Initially, it was just professional courtesy, shared glances over meeting tables, a professional email exchange about a client brief. But those exchanges grew longer, more frequent, more personal. He saw me not as Michael's wife, not as a mother, not as a manager, but as Eleanor. Just Eleanor. He listened intently to my ideas, my frustrations, my dreams, long dormant dreams I hadn't even realized I still possessed. He made me feel intelligent, witty, vibrant, alive. It was intoxicating, a dangerous elixir after years of feeling invisible. Our conversations began to spill out of the office, into after-work drinks with colleagues, then into private messages, then into hushed phone calls late at night after Michael had fallen asleep beside me. My heart would pound a frantic drum against my ribs as I whispered into the phone, the blankets pulled tight around my head, like a shroud. The secrecy itself was an aphrodisiac, a forbidden thrill that made me feel 18 again, reckless and unburdened. I knew it was wrong, profoundly, deeply wrong. The guilt was a constant heavy cloak, a suffocating weight I carried everywhere. But the allure, the irresistible pull of feeling truly desired, truly seen, was a drug I couldn't resist. One rainy Tuesday, after a particularly draining board meeting, we stayed behind for another drink. The office was empty, the city lights blurred beyond the window pane. He looked at me across the small table, his eyes dark and intense, and he reached out, covering my hand with his. A jolt went through me, an electric current I hadn't felt in years. My breath caught in my throat. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The unspoken acknowledgement hung heavy in the air between us, a silent promise, a dangerous invitation. I pulled my hand away, my heart hammering, but the moment had been etched into my memory, an undeniable turning point. That night I lay awake beside Michael, the chasm between us feeling wider than ever. His steady breathing, a rhythm of comfortable normalcy, mocked the turmoil raging inside me. I hated myself for what I was contemplating, for what I was already doing in my mind. But I also hated the emptiness, the loneliness that had settled into the very marrow of my bones. I was starved for attention, for passion, for a connection that went beyond shared responsibilities and familiar routines. David offered that, or at least the illusion of it, and I was desperate enough to reach for it. The affair began not with a bang, but with a whisper, a gradual erosion of boundaries, a slow surrender to temptation. Stolen lunches, secret rendezvous in anonymous hotels, hurried kisses in hidden corners. Each illicit meeting was a cocktail of exhilaration and shame. With David, I felt light-free desired. He made me laugh. He challenged me. He made me feel beautiful in a way Michael hadn't in years. Our time together was a vibrant escape from the gray monotony of my everyday life, a technicolor dream against a black and white canvas. But the two worlds inevitably clashed. Living a double life was a constant, exhausting performance. I became a master of deception, of subtle evasions, of carefully crafted lies. Every time Michael asked about my day, a knot would tighten in my stomach. Every time I looked into my children's innocent eyes, a wave of self-disgust would wash over me. The joy I found with David was always tainted by the bitter taste of guilt. My conscience was a relentless tormentor, a nagging voice that whispered in the quiet hours, reminding me of the trust I was betraying, the family I was jeopardizing, the person I was becoming. I tried to stop, I truly did. I would resolve to end it, to break free from the intoxicating grip of David's attention, to recommit to Michael, to try and rekindle what was lost. But the pull was too strong. The idea of returning to that quiet, dull ache was unbearable. It felt like stepping back into a cage after a brief taste of freedom. And David, he was persistent, charming, persuasive. He understood me, he said he saw the real me. And in my desperate need to be seen, to be understood, I believed him. The cracks in my perfect facade began to show. I was distracted, irritable, easily agitated. Michael noticed the change, of course he did. He asked if everything was all right, if I was stressed at work, if I was unhappy. His concern was genuine, and it only deepened my guilt, making me lash out, pushing him away further. He started spending more time at the office, more time with his friends, a quiet retreat from my unpredictable moods. The distance between us grew not just emotional, but physical too. Our bed became a cold expanse, a silent testament to our widening gulf. The inevitable discovery came not with a dramatic flourish, but with a quiet, devastating whimper. A text message left open on my phone, a name he didn't recognize, a series of words that painted a picture too clear, too damning to deny. I had been careless, complacent, lulled into a false sense of security by the very success of my deception. Michael didn't scream or rage. His face was a mask of utter devastation, a look of profound heartbreak that instantly pierced through my hardened shell of self-preservation. It was worse than any anger he could have thrown at me. His silence, his pain spoke volumes, 1,000 accusations, without uttering a single word. The confession was a torrent of shame and regret. There were no excuses, no justifications. Only the raw, ugly truth. The trust we had built over 2 decades shattered into 1,000,000 irreparable pieces, scattering across the floor like broken glass. I watched our life together crumble before my very eyes. The children confused, heartbroken, caught in the crossfire of their parents' crumbling world. The accusations, the tears, the bitterness, the endless conversations that went nowhere. The lawyers, the paperwork, the division of assets, the dismantling of everything we had once been. David was there, initially a supportive presence, a refuge from the storm. But even that began to feel hollow. The thrill of the illicit had vanished, replaced by the stark reality of what we had done. Our relationship, born of deceit and rebellion, could not escape its tainted origins. The constant question lingered between us, unspoken but ever present. If she could do it to him, could she do it to me? The foundation of trust was simply not there. The weight of my past choices cast a long shadow over any chance of future happiness with him. Eventually, that too faded, a casualty of the wreckage I had created. Now I am alone. The comfortable house is empty, save for the echoes of a life that once was. The children visit, but the innocent warmth in their eyes has been replaced by a cautious sadness, a palpable reserve. Michael has moved on as he should. He found someone kind, someone genuine, someone who could offer him the wholehearted devotion I had denied him. And I watch from a distance, a ghost haunting the periphery of the life I destroyed. The loneliness is a constant companion, a bitter irony after seeking connection. The cost of my infidelity was immeasurable. I traded comfort for chaos, stability for uncertainty, love for fleeting passion, and in the end I lost it all. The freedom I craved turned into a profound loneliness. The attention I yearned for became a fleeting memory. I gained nothing but the bitter wisdom of regret. I learned that seeking happiness outside of a committed relationship, especially through deception, only leads to a deeper, more devastating emptiness. The allure of the forbidden is a powerful siren song, but its promise of ecstasy is a cruel illusion. It delivers only destruction, leaving a trail of broken hearts, including your own. The hardest truth of all is that sometimes you don't realize what you truly had until you've utterly destroyed it yourself. And some things, once broken, can never truly be put back together again. I am still piecing myself together brick by painful brick, trying to build a new foundation based on honesty and self-forgiveness. It is a long, arduous journey, a pilgrimage through the ruins of my own making. The scars will always remain a stark reminder of the choices I made and the devastating price I paid. The lessons are etched into my very soul, a cautionary tale of the seductive power of desire and the catastrophic consequences of betrayal. I may find peace one day, but the happiness I once had with Michael, the genuine, uncomplicated joy of it, is lost forever. And that is a burden I will carry always, a silent testament to the devastating power of a single moment of weakness that unraveled an entire life. It echoes in the quiet hours, a mournful symphony of what could have been and what can never be restored.